Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a video using my combination classics tropical Prima marketing palette to show you guys how I do my how I paint my watermelons, which is one of the things I really like to paint. And at the same time, I'm also going to be doing a review of the Prima marketing watercolors and how I find them. So here is my palette, which I combined the classics and tropical palettes together to create this 18 color palette, and it's really good because it has a wide range of colors, and I'm hoping that I can get some good results for my watermelon because I really like to draw these. So I'm just going to get started. The main colors that I use in my watermelon are pinks and greens. So I'm going to start by mixing a few different pinks and a few different greens. Right away, one of the things that I'm noticing is that the palette is beading quite a bit as I try and put some color on it. I've watched some tutorials about how to fix some of the beading, so I'm gonna try that, some different options, and see if I can get the beading to not be quite so bad, because it's a little hard to mix colors when it beads like that. Today I'm gonna try and do a bit of a galaxy watermelon. So for that, I will need some different levels of pink. That's why I'm gonna put some red here on my palette with my pink, and on the green side, I'm also gonna add some yellows and some different color shades of green so I can get a nice rind on my watermelon. So the beading is going to be quite an issue because I won't be able to tell what my colors are until they get onto the page. So we'll see how that works out. I have a few colors here to start with, and I'm gonna start my watermelon. To start my watermelon, what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to trace the shape of a watermelon and fill it in with just some clean water. So I want to make sure that my paper is thoroughly wet. So I'm actually going to wet it once and then wet it a second time to make sure that the paper is really saturated and soak into the paper a bit. You don't want it to be too wet such that the paint puddles, but you don't want it to be too dry either. So now I'm just going to start by giving it a base color for the most part of this bright pink color. Leaves a few spaces. You want to have some visual interest and a little bit of variety. And then I'm actually going to start by mixing a bunch of different kinds of pink. And I want it to be darker on this side than I do on the other side. So I'm going to mix most of my darks over here. And I'm noticing that it's a bit too wet. So I'm just going to come in with a paper towel and pick up some of the puddles. Also, it'll add some white back into it. While I'm waiting for this to dry, I can start with my rind. So you want to be careful to leave a tiny edge for the rind, because there's actually white between where it is green and where it is pink if you look on a watermelon. And for the green, for my first inside portion of green, I like it to be quite neon before coming in with a bit of my darker greens. And now I want to soften this inside edge a bit. So I left quite a bit of space because I wanted to come in with my clean brush and just soften the green a little bit and get a little bit more spreading. And it's okay if some of the pink runs into that color. It actually just adds a little bit more character to the piece. So I'm really liking how that's turning out. Okay, so my watermelon is dry now, and I'm just going to go over it again and do a second layer. So again, when I do this, I'm going to do a wash first underneath, just a wash with regular clean water, and then I'm going to concentrate the color in the areas where I want to add a bit more dimension. I'm just going to be careful not to move too much paint around because I don't want to lift any of the color that's already underneath. So I'm going to concentrate in this area here where I have the most dark, and I'm going to add a little bit more purple to a little bit of that pink there. I'm just going to start layering on the color here. And I'm just going to kind of focus the colors where they are so that it doesn't get muddy. It doesn't have to be exact, but kind of see where you have a bit of color and add to it and make some different mixes. Just kind of play around with it. I don't want it to be too obviously concentrated, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit of the colors here. I'm just going to be careful to leave a little bit of white space. And this is really starting to look really good. And you want to just kind of make sure that you don't get any hard edges, unless you're looking for that. But on my second layer, I don't want that. I want it to kind of blend in with the first layer. And if you want, you can also go in and add a tiny bit more on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a touch more green on the bottom just to create like a line down here, and letting the watercolor do its thing. I just love how this turned out. So I think that normally I'll put some seeds in it, but I don't think I need it this time. I think that I'm just gonna write something really nice underneath, and I think I'm actually just gonna frame it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you guys make your own watermelons, feel free to include the link in the comments below and point me to it, because this is something that I do over and over and over again, and I hope to talk to you guys again soon. Thanks.